Michel Enríquez was born on November 9, 1980, in Sancti Spiritus, Cuba, a city steeped in the rich history of Cuban baseball. From a young age, Enríquez was drawn to the sport, as baseball is a passion deeply embedded in the culture of the island. He grew up in a family that shared his love for the game, with his father being an amateur baseball player who nurtured Enríquez's early interest in the sport. As a child, Enríquez exhibited impressive natural athleticism and an innate understanding of baseball fundamentals. His talent did not go unnoticed, and by the time he was a teenager, he had already joined the youth baseball teams in Sancti Spiritus, quickly establishing himself as one of the most promising young players in the region. His skill set included impressive bat speed, defensive reliability, and a strong arm, all of which contributed to his rise through the ranks of Cuban baseball. At the age of 15, Enríquez joined the Cuban national youth team, competing in various international tournaments and gaining valuable experience against some of the best young talent worldwide. His performances at these tournaments set the stage for his professional career, earning him a reputation as one of the country's brightest prospects. In 1999, at the age of 18, Enríquez made his debut with the Cuban National Series, CNS, which is the top professional league in Cuba. This early entry into the professional ranks showed that he was ready to compete at a high level, and it would mark the start of an illustrious career. Rising star in the Cuban National Series. Enríquez's entry into the Cuban National Series was met with immediate success. He was drafted by Industriales, one of Cuba's most storied teams. From the start, his offensive capabilities stood out. Playing primarily as a third baseman, Enríquez's blend of power and consistency at the plate made him one of the key contributors to the team's lineup. In his rookie season, he posted solid numbers and began to earn the respect of his teammates and coaches. Over the next few years, Enríquez's game continued to develop. He began to emerge as one of the premier hitters in the league. His approach at the plate was marked by patience, a strong understanding of pitchers' tendencies, and exceptional contact skills, allowing him to drive the ball with authority. By 2002, just 3 years into his professional career, Enríquez had established himself as a reliable and dangerous bat in the Industriales lineup. In 2004, his breakout season arrived. Enríquez posted career-high numbers, including a .330 batting average, 25 home runs, and 85 RBIs. This impressive performance earned him recognition as one of the top players in the league. His offensive production was a key factor in Industriales' success, and it was during this time that Enríquez's reputation as a rising star began to take shape. By the middle of the 2000s, Enríquez was widely considered one of the best hitters in the Cuban National Series, with his ability to hit for both average and power making him one of the most feared players in the league. Career peak and dominance in Cuban baseball. Enríquez reached the peak of his career in the late 2000s and early 2010s, when he became one of the most dominant players in Cuban baseball. Throughout these years, his consistency at the plate remained unmatched. Enríquez's combination of power, average, and clutch hitting made him one of the most valuable players in the league, and he became the face of Industriales during this period. In 2009, Enríquez had one of his finest seasons, posting a .340 batting average, with 28 home runs and 92 RBIs. This stellar performance earned him a place on the Cuban National Series All-Star team and further solidified his reputation as one of the best players in the country. His power-hitting ability was complemented by his discipline at the plate, and he became known for his ability to produce in clutch situations, especially in the later innings of tight games. Throughout this period, Enríquez was instrumental in leading Industriales to multiple Cuban National Series titles. His offensive prowess played a critical role in the team's success, and his leadership in the locker room made him a key figure in their championship runs. In 2010, Enríquez's standout performances helped secure another Cuban National Series championship for Industriales, adding another highlight to his already impressive resume. Enríquez's dominance was not limited to regular season play. He also thrived in the postseason. He earned a reputation as a player who could elevate his game in critical moments, delivering big hits when his team needed them the most. His performances in the postseason helped solidify his status as one of Cuba's greatest baseball players of his generation. In addition to his team successes, Enríquez continued to build his individual legacy during this time. He won numerous Best Batter and Most Valuable Player (MVP) awards over the course of his career. His ability to produce consistently over a decade-long stretch made him one of the most respected players in Cuban baseball history. Enríquez's leadership on the field and his consistent offensive contributions were a major factor in the enduring success of Industriales. International contributions and representation of Cuba. Throughout his career, Michel Enríquez also played a crucial role as a member of the Cuban national team. He represented Cuba in a variety of international tournaments, including the World Baseball Classic, WBC, and the Pan American Games. His time with the national team allowed him to compete at the highest levels of international competition, further elevating his status as one of the premier baseball players in the world. Enríquez first represented Cuba in the 2009 World Baseball Classic, where he helped lead his country to a strong showing in the tournament. Though Cuba did not win the tournament, Enríquez's contributions were vital, and his performance helped demonstrate his ability to compete against the best players from around the globe. In addition to his World Baseball Classic appearances, Enríquez was also a key member of the Cuban team that won gold medals at the Pan American Games and other international competitions. His international success reinforced his status as one of Cuba's most accomplished players of the 2000s and 2010s. His contributions to the national team, both offensively and defensively, played a significant role in Cuba's continued dominance on the international baseball stage. Decline and final years. As Enríquez approached his mid-30s, he began to experience the natural decline that often accompanies an aging athlete. His numbers started to dip slightly, and while he remained a productive player, his ability to maintain his peak performance began to wane. However, even in the twilight years of his career, Enríquez remained a reliable contributor to Industriales and continued to offer leadership and guidance to younger players on the team. In his final seasons, Enríquez took on a more mentor-like role, offering advice to younger players and sharing his vast knowledge of the game. His leadership remained invaluable to Industriales, and his veteran presence helped guide the team through a period of transition. While his numbers may have slowed, his impact on the field, especially in terms of leadership and experience, continued to be felt. Enríquez officially retired from professional baseball in 2017, bringing an end to a career that spanned over a decade and a half. His retirement marked the close of one of the most distinguished careers in Cuban baseball history. Upon retiring, Enríquez left a legacy of excellence, consistency, and leadership that would serve as a model for future generations of Cuban baseball players. Legacy and impact on Cuban baseball. Michel Enríquez's legacy is one of greatness. As one of the most successful players in the history of the Cuban National Series, Enríquez's combination of power, consistency, and leadership helped define an era of Cuban baseball. His ability to hit for average, drive in runs, and perform in clutch moments made him a cornerstone of the Industriales franchise, and his presence on the Cuban national team allowed him to showcase his talents on the international stage. Enríquez's accomplishments have made him a respected figure not only in Cuba but also among the global baseball community. He was a player who could dominate at the highest levels of competition, earning respect from opponents and teammates alike. His success on the field, paired with his leadership off the field, has solidified his place as one of the most important players in the history of Cuban baseball. His impact on Cuban baseball extends beyond his playing days. Enríquez has served as an inspiration to countless young players in Cuba, demonstrating what can be achieved through hard work, perseverance, and a love of the game. His contributions to the sport will continue to be remembered as one of the key pillars of Cuban baseball in the 21st century.